Hello, Algebra 2 students for Ms. Bell. She is looking at some problems like this. I think you're going to be like directed to a website or something and you're going to be looking at these problems. I printed them out and I'm going to be solving these and telling you whether they're substitution or elimination. I wrote them down. So I'm going to do the odd ones to walk you through. So the first one, when we're solving this system of equations, we're going to be using substitution because I could see that one of the variables y is given to me right here. It equals 2x plus 1. And I'm going to substitute that 2x plus 1 right here for this y so that I'm only dealing with x's. That's why we do it. So I have 5x plus y. This is my y, remember? I substituted it in. I'm not going to do this for each one, so don't worry. Equals 8, so equals 8, just in case you need help in understanding what just happened. So I combine my like terms. I then get the x by itself on one side, and I get x equals 1. Now, I go and plug in, I could pick either one of these. I happen to choose the first one, just whichever one you like, whichever one looks better for you. So 2 times 1 plus 1. So 2 times 1 plus 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, y equals 3. So my answers are x is 1, y is 3. And then you're going to go to another page, and it looks like you're going to, put in 1, 3. There also is a check on these. So your x plus your y should equal 4, just to check. And let's see, well, 1 plus 3, yeah, that equals 4. Okay, so that's what those check marks mean, to check it. Going on to number 3. I end up using the elimination method. I eliminate the 4y and the negative 4y. It's already set up. I didn't have to change anything. That's why elimination looks so good. And so I end up with 2 x's. So these canceled out right here. I have x plus x is 2x. And I have 10 minus 14 is negative 4. Then I divided both sides by 2. These canceled out. And I end up with x is equal to negative 2. I plugged that into that first one, this first one up here. My x is now negative 2. So I have negative 2 plus 4y equals 10. I added 2 to both sides. And then I divide both sides by 4. I get y equals 3. And then the check was multiplying your x and y together should equal negative 6. So negative 2 times 3, yeah, that equals negative 6. That works. Going on to number 5. I'm going to use the substitution because I'm going to substitute this value in right here for that y. Because y equals this, so I got y here, so it should equal that. So they should equal each other, in other words. I just worked to get my x on one side. What I did 2 steps in one here. I subtracted 6 from both sides, 6x. I like to keep my x value positive, just saves me some work in the end. So that's why I did it this way. You could have went the other way, and you'll get the same answer. And then I subtracted 15 from both sides because I have to have something on this side. And then I divided both sides by 2 to get this x by itself, and I get x equals negative 1. And then y, I just substituted that x in for the first problem. For this x, I put in my negative 1. So that's going to be negative 6. So 13 minus 6 is 7, and that goes through the check also. Take a look at number 7, using the substitution method. I substituted this value for y, because y equals it, and I plugged it in right there. I'd use the distributive property, combine my like terms, divide both sides by 9, I get x equals 2. Right here, I combined my like terms and I added 12 to both sides to get that 18, just saving a step. I plugged in that 2 up here. This is obviously the easier one. So 2 minus 6 is negative 4. And that passes by the check that you have on your paper or on your screen also. Number 9. If you take a look at number 9 here, you can see I used the substitution method. I substituted my x value in right here. I went ahead and did the distributive property. I figured out that y equals 5. I went back in the first problem and I substituted my y value in, and I get x equals -3. You could pause this as needed in order to get these problems done. Okay, number 11, finally an elimination one. The thing is, well, another elimination one, a more difficult one. I noticed that either one of these, I was looking at these, the y to get rid of the y, I don't know why, but I was looking at these y's. And I wanted to get this to be a, one of these to get to be a +6. So I made this each term multiply by -3. So when you do that, you multiply each term by -3. So the whole equation changes, but 0 times -3 is still 0. And then you could see I could just solve for x because this -6y and this +6y, they cancel out. So I get -5x equals 10 and x equals -2. I plugged in that -2 back into this original for x, then I solved for y, and I get y equals -3. Take a look at number 13. Use the substitution. You can see how I did that, and you might want to pause that to look at that. Number 15. What did I use? I used the substitution also. I'm just writing that. You don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know that that's a substitution. I substituted this x -2 value in for y right here. You can see I did that. I worked the problem out. And then I substituted that x value in to that second problem, because that's the easiest one. -2 minus 2 gave me -4. It passes the check. Number 17, I used the elimination method. And here I'm looking at the 3 and the 2. You could have went with 70 and multiplied everything up here by 7 and multiplied everything here by like a -10 in order to get -70. So I mean, you could have done that. You can, either one you choose. I just chose these because I felt it was easier to get some -6 somewhere. So that's how these changed. I multiplied every term of the top by 2 and every term of the bottom by -3, so I could have a -6 there. So you got to just think about how you would manipulate those within the rules of algebra. Okay, so I get x equals 2. And then when I plug that 2 back into one of the original problems, this one I picked because it seemed easier, you end up getting y equals -7. No matter which problem, remember, no matter which problem you plug that back into, it's going to work. It'll work. You'll get the same answer. And no matter what you change, you'll get the same answer too. Substitution, I substitute this y, it says y equals this, so, and then it says y, well, this would equal y, so that equals that. So right, I have set them equal to each other. Now I'm only working with x's, and I get x is -1, and I get y is a 5. You can see I plugged that back into this second one. Okay, hopefully this helps. If you need more help, please contact me.